So the senator, he may be on the sick bed, but he is very busy. Remember, yesterday, he was stretchered into the court. He was arraigned. He was granted bail, but he was rearrested by the police. And today, he was also very busy. He got on the road. They stretchered him from Lake Abuja to Lokoja, and he was arraigned also. He was forced to fall. He called at the SARS office in Lokoja before taken to the court for arraignment. He was arraigned, but unfortunately, not like yesterday, he couldn't get bail. Is going to perhaps stay in custody of the police in what they call semi-prison for another over 30 days if he's able to get bail, maybe not to that time. Let's get some perspective to this one, legal one for that matter. Joining me in the studio is Mr. Jiti Ogunye, our in-house analyst here on the program. Is a lawyer. Thank you so much, Mr. Ogunye, for your time on the program. What is the ramifications on this one? The legality of the senator. A lot of the members of the National Assembly are talking about self-recognizance, which, of course, that also is obtainable in law. But the case has been argued in the courtroom today seems not to have favored the man for him to go back to the hospital or not to his home.
Yes, obviously. Bail is discretionary. It's discretionary.
For the judge?
For the judge. Even if all the... I mean, the principles governing the grant of bail are well known. The nature of the charge, the likelihood of the accused person or criminal defendant jumping bail, etc., etc., the severity of the offense, things like that. But at the end of the day, it's up to the judge or the magistrate presiding to exercise his discretion in the favor of the criminal defendant to grant him bail. And in the grant of bail, this exercise of discretion is done judicially and judiciously. It's not been granted bail. That doesn't mean that it won't be granted bail.
He may still get bail before June 11th.
He may still
without even sitting in court.
He may still get bail. The lawyers know what to do to ensure that it's granted bail. And his senior lawyer, Chief Michael Zekum, the senior advocate of Nigeria, spoke to that effect, that they're already taking steps.
Why do you think that some of the lawmakers are thinking that this is more of politics and persecution rather than the issues of law?
You know, they're covered by legislative privilege, and so they are permitted to say anything they like on the floor of the National Assembly. But I would imagine that if I were in their shoes, I would be more circumspect before jumping to conclusion. You know, anybody can say anything. Anybody can talk about political persecution. But, you know, the best way to deal with political persecution is to expose that persecution for what it is. And so if you are being asked by the police to come, you make yourself available. You're not a fugitive from justice. You are a distinguished senator,
but the police said he surrendered himself
and so,
for arrest at some point.
There were antecedents, there were drama, there were showmanship and things like that, which wasn't necessary. So these antecedents were there, including the allegation that while he was being taken to court in Lokoja, is the capital of his state, of the senatorial district that is representing. He tried to elope. That's the allegation. And this has been confirmed by some of his friends in the social media and the mainstream media, who said that, yes, he feared for his life. He believed that he would be harmed in that state. And that's why that roadside drama occurred. Anything could have happened, which then resulted in his being charged to a magistrate court previously for an attempt to commit suicide. You know, all those things weren't necessary. By the way, Senator Shehu Sani was invited by the police in Kaduna. And he went there and even made a show of it. That I went there, I wrote a statement. I was released on bail in my own self-recognizance, and I had left. He posted it on his Facebook. So what's the drama all about? Really? I didn't see the need for the drama.
But I mean,
because there's also
the history of the relationship between himself and the governor of his state which a lot of they make reference to when talking about the case of Senator Dino Melaye and the Nigerian police.
You know, there is a context here. There are two basic considerations. You don't want political persecution or witch hunt or victimization. At the same time, you want to vindicate the rule of law, that no matter how highly placed you are beneath the law. The law is above you. The law is higher than you. And so when senators are dodgy, running away from the EFCC, running away from the police, inundating the court with their members, seemingly intimidating the Judex, saying that they are showing solidarity, closing the legislative chambers to, flog the court and all that, it gives an impression that men of power, who are not covered by immunity, are giving a message to the public that they cannot be prosecuted, that they cannot be dragged before the law court. That impression is wrong.
But when you see
that's why I said that there are two considerations
there. The process of executing the law sometimes looks biased and skewed somehow. Don't you have, as a citizen, to have your right to exercise some level of fear in this case?
Even when you are alleging bias, it is still the court that you have recourse to vindicate yourself and establish bias, either by filing a civil action or by defending yourself before a court of criminal jurisdiction. The point I'm making is that you cannot run away from the judicial system in order to vindicate yourself. You have to engage that system to vindicate yourself. And if it is established that you have been maliciously prosecuted, you have recourse. You will sue the state for that malicious prosecution and get whopping damages.
It looks like a long stretch of journey for Senator Dino Melaye because he's battling on several angles now.
But he will get justice eventually.
All right,
I believe so.
Let's move to perhaps one we say a very important matter today on the program. We are in the month of May, and if you count it, January, February, March, April, May is the 5th month in the year 2018, and the budget is yet to be passed. Today, the House of Representatives said the 2018 appropriation bill will be passed next week. Abdulrazak Namdas is the spokesperson of the House. He announced this while addressing National Assembly correspondents. According to him, the budget will be laid before the lawmakers on Tuesday and passed within the week. Before now, the House of Representatives had assured Nigerians that budget will be passed on the 24th of April 2018. President Muhammadu Buhari laid the document on a joint session of the National Assembly on the 7th of November 2017. At some point, the National Assembly blamed the MDAs for delaying the budget for not providing relevant information needed by the lawmakers to carry out their job of scrutinizing the proposals. Is the budget cut in the crossfire of the strained relationship between the executive and the legislature? Well, let's hear from the member of the House now, the spokesperson.
The management, I will let you know whether that letter is written. But I want to assure you that we have resolved and we have not taken another decision outside that was taken. But however, communication to the president from the National Assembly has to be with the management, and in this case, it is the CNA. So that is what I can answer on this. Thank you for reminding us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this brief understanding.
Okay, then we dig into this one. Let me introduce my panel on this one to you. Mr. Bismarck Ruwani, economics, and the MD of financial derivatives is in VI Lagos. He'll be giving us perspective, the implication of the budget not being passed, but we take a moment on the program. Himself and Mr. Jiti Ogunye will be giving us perspective on the 2018 budget, and it's hanging in the balance. That's after this break. Join us again, everyone.